Hi guys, I hope all is well. Chamion here. Today I am doing for you some vegetarian lasagna rolls. Here I have my cooked lasagna pasta strips. I have some evaporated milk, some marinara sauce, a stick of butter, my fresh blend of seasonings that I will be using, which is celery, onion and garlic, that's all. I have some dehydrated Italian herbs, and of course my salt and black pepper that I'm going to ground freshly, and my local cheddar. So I'm going to start by cooking this my veg first. It is bhaji. If you live in the next part of the world, like international world, or even the US, even locally, and you like spinach and these things, use spinach, feel free. But when I saw this spinach, I couldn't resist. It's just gorgeous, fresh. You all know I only work with fresh stuff. I chopped it somewhat. I didn't want to chop too much because you all know it wilts. If you don't know, this is what lasagna strips, pasta strips looks like. A lot of the boxes and times they don't call for you to pre-boil it or cook it before putting it, making lasagna. But of course that will only go for if you are making the actual lasagna, and still I don't chance that. This is what it looks like out of the box, right? I have a demo on lasagna, right? So you all can check that out if you are wondering how to do lasagna, right? Check it out. So I'm focusing on the rolls here. I am about to put some extra virgin olive oil into my pot that is already heated, and I am about to start now. Right? So just watch. Remember, veg doesn't take long to cook, right? I'm going to use my extra virgin olive oil. Like I said, I am using a non-stick pot, so no matter how much times I move the oil around, it's going to keep going back into one position, right? The things like that you just want to be mindful of, right? So I am going to add some of my fresh seasoning. Remember, I called out at the start the blend of seasoning I'm using. I'm trying to not get too much of local taste in this, right? This is enough seasoning for that. You all know I only go to fresh seasonings, right? I'm just letting it sweat a bit because like I always say, this is the critical stage where it releases all the flavors in the oil, right? So I'm going to put in Trinidad we say in, but it's in. I'm going to put in my my spinach or my bhaji at this point. Whichever veg you choose to use, it's on you, right? Can get creative also and use things like mushrooms and so forth in there. Don't be afraid. Right? You all know these things cook very quickly, right? Make sure you always wash your veg. A tip, you can wash all your veg on your market day, whichever day you go to the market or supermarket, and you have veg, wash all and just put it in a storage bag in your refrigerator. So when you are ready to use it, it will already be washed and waiting on you, because I don't like wet veg whatsoever. So at this stage, I'm going to add some of my salt. I'm not a fan of black pepper. A lot of you all know that I am not, right? I don't cook down my veg too much. I like it to maintain some of it vibrancy, so I don't cook it until it's just pale looking and all of that, right? So you see how it's looking there? I am just some seconds away from turning it off. I'm just a couple seconds away from turning it off, right? Because you want it nice and bright and looking really good. You don't want to get it to this color and no. Veg is so good that it can even be eaten raw. So when we are cooking some of them, there's no need to cook it too much. Remember that. Because remember, these things, a lot of persons have spinach and so forth in salad without cooking it, of course. Even pak choy or bok choy, as you all know. We call it pak choy here in Trinidad, right? So I'm just going to add, sorry about that cutting off. I'm going to add a bit of some sea salt from Maine. If you might be wondering what is the brand, it is Stonewall brand. I did a blog recently. Texture of the salt is magnificent. I'm not going to put too much because cheddar contains salt. The texture of the salt is just gorgeous. Yeah, I did a blog. I'm going to just alright, I'm going to leave it at this stage here. Let me leave it here. I did a blog. It's on the channel here on YouTube also of a particular place I visited recently in West Trinidad. You all can check out that blog. Feel free to check out that blog, okay? So now that this is cooked, I am going to, you know, get it out of here. And of course, you all see me time and time again this method where I do the cheese sauce. So I'm getting ready to show you all, if you are first time viewer, how I make my cheese sauce. So let's just keep watching as I bring this beautiful vegetarian dish, lasagna rolls, together for you all, right? So guys, I'm just going to make the cheese sauce. You will need about 2 tablespoons of butter depending on the amount of cheese sauce that you are making, right? I'm just going to show you guys how I make my cheese sauce all the time, right? And the good thing about this butter that I'm using, well, we have even the ones over here. This is imported butter that I'm using. It have the measurements. That is what the Americans call a stick of butter, right? So I'm just going to take, like I said, 2 tablespoons to start my my cheese sauce. And this is a sauce that I use for mostly all my baking and so forth, right? If you guys have time, or you went through, or you are a subscriber to my channel, you will notice how much time you see me do this sauce if I'm baking savory goods, right? So about exactly here is our 2 tablespoons. I'm going to get it straight into the pot. Let me just wrap it back up. You all know how I feel about safety in the kitchen, right? So I'm just going to get it back, to get it going. You have to move fast with cheese sauce, right? Because sometimes the butter tends to discolor. And remember, this is an imported brand of butter, so you are seeing a lot of foaming and all of that. That is quite okay. It's not the butter that we are used to in Trinidad. Of course, I am not saying that you cannot use the butter that we get here. By all means, free to use our butter. I'm going to add now my my evaporated milk. Use any brand that you can, right? When I'm done that, adding this, I'm just going to run my process. Already have the bulk of it done to get the rest of my cheddar done, right? So I'm just going to take you back to the processor. So I'm just going to get the rest done and get some in there. And it was that quick. So now I'm going to just put some of the cheese in there. I'm wearing my gloves, of course, so I can use my hands. If you want to know how much cheese that was, I would say it was a cup of cheese that I'm using in this sauce, right? Remember, it will vary on how much persons you are cooking for. Right? You want it to go. I'm going to add some freshly ground black pepper. If you're wondering what is this thing, freshly ground black pepper, that you hear about a lot, it's just like how we are accustomed to here in Trinidad, the powder black pepper. This is just a version of the whole peppercorn so that you can ground it yourself. The flavor is much more intense. The flavor is much more intense because keep in mind, you are only grounding this or grinding it when you are ready to use it. So the flavor is so much more intense when you do it this way, right? So that's all it is, and it became quite something that is well loved throughout the culinary world, right, for a number of years, right? Keep your fire on low. It smells just lovely. I'm now going to add, I'm not putting salt because remember, cheddar contains high amounts of sodium enough, right? So there is absolutely no need, for salt in here unless you are using something that's just so pretty as it hit the pot. Unless you are using something that will definitely need salt, right? Of next vegetable or so, but I am not going to use it like I said, right guys? This is where I'll stop. Right, I'm going to put a bit of nutmeg in there. I'm going to use my device that's really a zester, but it's used for like shavings of chocolates and so forth. It's some Mario Batali zester that I'm going to use. You also saw it a couple times on set, right? So it's my Mario Batali zester. Have it a number of years. I'm just going to use this to get the nutmeg freshly grated in there. This is what it looks like. See, you guys saw it, right? So I'm just going to put a bit in there. Just for intense flavor, no special purpose. Right? I cook with a lot of ground spice, by the way. Not overbearing amounts, but I love it, and there's a lot of health benefits to these things, okay? So about there is where I want to leave it. Then I'll give it a stir. At this point, it's safe to take it off. I know some persons will put thickening agents and so forth in their sauces. I won't do that. Right? This is pretty much like what they will call a bechamel sauce in the United States or the international world. It will vary depending on who the chef is and whatever purpose, or the cook is and whatever purpose they want it for. Right? Remember the word I use, it is pretty much. I didn't say it is. Right? So, that's it for our cheese sauce, and we are just going to put together now our rolls. Right? So just watch as I bring it together very quickly for us. This can also be used on pasta if you want to do a homemade mac and cheese on your own. So I'm just going to move the camera back over to my workstation or area. Right? So that's all I'm doing. I'm trying to not get this taste too Trini or Caribbean, if you will. So I'm trying to stay clear of using too much local seasonings, right? So you want to give a good spray. This is an extra virgin olive oil organic spray that I'm using. Non-stick cooking sprays, right? I'm just going to put a bit of my marinara sauce at the bottom here, as you all saw me do with the other demos that was pretty much like this, right? This sauce I'm using, by the way, this one is a fresh mushroom blend of sauce. So you're seeing chunks of the mushroom in the sauce, right? And now we are ready to start building. I'm going to use the same spoon, by the way, to start building our lasagna. I'm going to put it in the veg onto it right on here, right? Don't overstuff it. Don't overstuff it, right? So, and you don't want to put it only on one end, because remember what it's going to do. We have to do some wrapping. Get a bit of your freshly made cheese sauce. Already looks so good. Remember, there is a lot of good stuff in here, right? I don't know which vegetarian or which persons that have something that's this good will still say that they don't like veg. I don't know. You know, I'm a person, I love veg, actually. Love veg. There are times I sit and I just feel to eat veg alone. Right? You all have seen what I'm doing, right? It's nothing hard. It's nothing hard whatsoever. And I'm just going to rest it down. You all saw that. It's nothing hard. And I always say I don't want to believe it's because I know how to cook. I'm that experienced in cooking that I say it's not hard, and then you guys be like, yes, it is hard, Chamion. What are you saying? It's not hard. Like I always say, what I cook teenagers could put together with adult supervision in the kitchen. I don't want children cooking alone at no time. Right? You see, nice. The green is just brilliant. You remember when I cooked it at the start, and I told you, well, I don't want it to cook off too much. And remember, I did not add water or liquids of any kind, right? Because I just wanted it to maintain its vibrancy. I wanted it to do that, so I had to not add too much of this sauce looks so good. And remember, it's homemade sauce, eh? Let's say that in consideration, please. And we are going to roll it again. There is also the meat version of the same thing that I'm doing here, but they just do, instead of baking the lasagna pie, they make the lasagna rolls. You all understand that? Yes, you did. Right? So we want to just keep doing this until we are all used up. Right? It's that simple. So we're just going to keep doing it until our dish, whichever size dish you are using, until it's filled, right? It's going to be really, really good. I will put mushrooms in here too, but remember my sauce contains mushroom, right? The sauce that I'm using, the brand that I'm using, it contains mushroom. I can't stop speaking about how good the veg looks. The bhaji just looks really good. Remember, I told you all that you can use spinach, right? Because my international viewers, that's what you all will highly likely be able to access, and not bhaji. I'm not a bhaji lover, but after today might change. Why I don't like it? Simply because I find it somewhat sunny. This is a bit sunny. So that's all why I don't like it. And a lot of you that are from Trinidad too will say, yes, I know what Chamion is saying. So like, say for instance, you know how I'm coming away a bit from this demo, right? You know, sometime in Trinidad we do bhaji and pigtails. I will cook it. I will pretty much use dasheen bush, callaloo bush to do that. I'm just not a lover of bhaji. People have their preferences and their likes and dislikes and their loves, and I am not one that loves bhaji. Right, I just want to put a little more of the cheese sauce in this area here. Find it looks a bit dry. And that's the thing with when you're doing lasagna, you don't ever want to make it dry, ever, because it's going to become crisp on you. Right? Try putting the bottom parts down. You all saw what I keep doing, right? Try putting the part that you wrap last down in your dish, so you wouldn't come apart at all whatsoever, right? Just be careful handling your strips, so you don't want it to and the next thing, when you are cooking these, don't overcook it. And don't ever put oil in your pasta. I say that a lot, but it's the truth. Don't ever put oil in your pasta. Just put a moderate amount of salt to keep it from sticking together. That's all you need to do, okay? And it's better you have too much veg than too little, because veg it wilts. No matter how big it might look. If you're cooking a bundle of any veg, you see it look like so much, and when it hit the pot, be it kale or whatever, if you are an international viewer. And by the way, we get kale and so forth in our regular supermarkets now in Trinidad. Huh? Asparagus, all those things now, and now pretty much of our veg section in our supermarkets in Trinidad. It's no longer more American thing, you know. I saw fish folks once at a particular place. I can't recall exactly where, but I saw it. I was like, wow, you know. Trinidad is really picking up speed, so to speak, with this. I'm gonna have 6, right? That's the amount I'm gonna have, exact amount, and I cook just exact amount of spinach without even thinking. I cook just the right and perfect amount needed for my 6, right? Remember to spread it. And I guess people will be thrilled if you put more cheese sauce in there than you put the veg, right? People will be thrilled. There's something about cheese, not only in Trinidad, but something about cheese people just appreciate and love. More so melted cheese, right? So remember our steps. Please remember our steps. It's just high repeat until everything is used up. You will know how much persons you want to feed, so count your strips to suit. But what I'll tell you, when you are doing anything cooking wise, here's the next tip I'm giving, since I'm doing all one time. But I'll tell you guys, if you are cooking, if you want to get 8 strips, boil 9 to be safe, just in case one should break apart or so, right? So you always leave room for things like that. You are boiling eggs, you don't boil exact. If you need 10, you don't boil 10 eggs exact. You just do 1 over just in case, right? It makes sense. You all know I share with you all. I'm not afraid, right? Some wrap tighter and some it's okay, because I'm going to put sauce over it anyway, right? And the good thing about it is once it's finished baking, we'll be able to remember or see where our lines are, and we will be able to serve it to suit. We will not be slicing them. I will show you guys how to lift it out, right? So this is our final one. The scent of the cheese sauce is so amazing, you guys won't believe. And I'm not a lover of dairy, but it smells good. It smells really good. It smells really good. I'm gonna if you want to get really creative too, I'm giving you some of my ideas, and this recipe by the way is my own. I'm giving you some of my ideas and secrets. If you want to get really creative with this, you can also feel free to put some properly scalded or boiled saltfish in here, right? If you want to take it up a Caribbean notch, just do that, right? Shred it, make sure the salt is out, please, and put it in here. See, I'm sharing with you all. I'm not afraid to share with you all. I tell you all that all the time. There's no reason for me to be afraid to share with you all, because if I was afraid to share with you all, I would not have started Food by Chamion in the first place. I will have just remained this private cook, right? But I'm not afraid. So you can imagine the niceness you will have if you put some saltfish in there. If you want to, and you want to use the saltfish, and you want to kind of use probably some coconut milk, but not in your cheese sauce. Your cheese sauce must be made with evaporated milk, unless you are a vegan, right? So I'm getting ready just to wipe up the mess and the spillage. Just a little spillage, not too much. It's not the end of the world. It's just some mess we have going on, and I'm going to get ready to show you guys the final thing. Just let me take all this mess off of here. I hate mess. You all know that by now, right? So just getting ready to bring down our dish, and bring down our dish and top it, right? Of course, we need some breadcrumbs on there. You all know I don't use cheddar without breadcrumbs, probably unless I'm doing pizza, right? So let me just clean up the side of the dish. I hate to see mess. Even though I'm going to put sauce, I'm still going to clean up the sides because it just looks miserable, right? You all should take all the tips. Don't only take my cooking things, take all the tips, right? So you want to do like that with your sauce. This sauce, it smells really, really good. You want to do like this with your sauce. I'm still going to hit it with a bit more of nutmeg, and of course I have the Italian dehydrated herbs, a blend of Italian dehydrated herbs to put on it. If you might ask, Chamion, what is Italian herbs? It's a mixture of things like rosemary, oregano, basil, things like that. That is what that is. It's simply what it is. I was trying to focus, so that's why I said you all know I do that from time to time also. You all know me well by now, you know, a lot of you, just from viewing my demos. I want a bit of that flavor coming through, so I'm going to put some of the marinara sauce on there, so we have that nice, beautiful texture, mixture of the both coming through. So I'm going to now top it with some of the marinara sauce, right? Make sure your edges are covered, because it tends to get crispy on the edges whenever you are doing any kind of lasagna, right? So about there is where we stop. We are going to now top it with some of the Italian herbs. Of course, it will have other things besides what I call, right, in the Italian herbs, because it's a blend of Italian herbs, right? And then I'm going to top it with my cheddar. You can use whichever cheese you have. You prefer that dries, that bakes nicely. Not every cheese bakes nicely, right? Even sometimes locally here, there's a set of cheddar that we get that gives a lot of trouble to cook properly. So I'm just going to top it with some of my cheddar. You all can imagine the lovely cheesiness that we're going to have, right? I'm giving you all the next tip again. maybe I cover these demos in the future. You can also put mini meatballs in this. I'll do a meatball demo for you all soon. Mini meatballs in this instead of the minced beef, and use it. So you're gonna make it probably the size of, I don't know how to explain it for my American friends. You all may not know what is marbles in America. I don't know if you guys know, but that is something, you know. So you want to make it the size of the big marbles, the meatballs. So it won't give you much trouble to have. And you're going to just press it with the back of your knife gently, so it could kind of somewhat smash it, and then you put your stuff, right? Make sure your corners get. I can hear my vegetarian supporters and subscribers even now. I can hear you all. I can, yes I can. So I'm just going to get ready to put the breadcrumbs onto it, and then it's going to go down in the oven to bake. You all know I don't like to say oven time and so forth, because that varies by whether it's gas or electric, and you make a model of your oven. You will know how your oven behaves, so you will have to monitor things to suit your desired color and so forth. But keep in mind, this doesn't need much cooking, because our lasagna is fully cooked, our veg is fully cooked, and so is our sauce, cheese sauce. We just want some golden perfection. That's all we are looking for, right guys? That's all we are looking for. So let me just get the breadcrumbs. It's Italian breadcrumbs, by the way. I'm just putting on some. It helps to remove the oil and gives it a nice crust at the top. So it does double duty when you use it for baking, right? For baking, we say full here in Trinidad and not for, right? So that's all I'm doing. I'm just adding. Don't overdo it though. You all know I always speak about that. You don't want to ever overdo anything. You want nice balance. Of course, the breadcrumbs is going everywhere. And if you have breadcrumbs and you buy it because you use it a lot, or you are just going to buy it to follow my demos, store it in your refrigerator. Treat it as you will bread, because of course breadcrumbs is made from bread. That's where it came from. Most time they use bread that's probably 2 days old and they make breadcrumbs. It can be done at home also, right? But as we progress, I'm going to show you guys a couple of these things, how easy they are to accomplish at home, right? So you all heard what I said about baking time and so forth. It's going to be just gorgeous. We already seen how beautiful it is, and we are just going to monitor. I am going to monitor it in the oven, and that's the end of it, guys. Of course, I'm going to show you all the perfection that we will have of this vegetarian dish, right guys? So keep watching. So guys, we have reached the end of our lasagna rolls, our bhaji or spinach lasagna rolls. It's cooked perfectly, like to perfection. You all remember when I put the bits of the sauce, the marinara in there on the top, right? So it's coming through brilliantly. So we have a taste of the both coming through. So I'm just going to cut it for you guys to see. It looks like a rather whole pie, you know. Looks can be deceiving because these are rolls. Yeah, it's not a whole pie. So I'm just going to it should be able to just find the marking as easy as can be, right? Which is about here, like about here, so right. So that's where the marking is. It's quite cheesy. Remember, there is not grated nutmeg in there, right? So look, the line, there is the line right here, right? So we are seeing both, which is what I was going for. We are seeing both the cheese sauce coming through and also the marinara at the same time, which is goal and mission accomplished, so to speak, because that is what I wanted, right? Remember, they are rolls, so you're supposed to just be able to find, once you do it, very easily where it starts and ends, right? Of course, we use cheese, so it will be somewhat lost, so to speak, because we use cheese, right? But no one looking at it will think that it was rolled, because it's so perfect, right? It's so perfect. I'm just going to do a cutting for you all, okay? It's really perfect. I think this is going to become a classic. I'm even seeing in the dish, I am seeing the veg coming through, right? And that's why I told you I don't cook it too much, because I didn't want it to turn too brown, because remember it will have had to bake, of course. It looks just so gorgeous and yummy, right? So I am going to just cut into it a very small piece of it for you guys to see, right? I don't want to cut too much of a big part of it. I didn't want to cut too much, and I purposely cut it at the angle that I did, right? So I want you all to see what we have on the inside of our rolls, right? This is what we have on the inside of our rolls, guys. The plate is just, you know, it speaks of it being very moist. It isn't dry by any stretch of the imagination. Looks just so good, right, guys? Guys, as always, the pleasure was my own. You all know the business. It's all over social media. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. And of course, the YouTube channel, all under the name Food by Chamion. There is an email address for the business if you want to come into direct contact with me. That email address is foodbychamion@gmail.com. My first name is spelled Chamion, but to access any email address, as you know, it's all common letters. Guys, until I'm with you all, bye and thanks for watching.